Hi, my name is Bivek Sharma. I'm the partner in charge of Small Business Accounting at KPMG. So there are lots of funding options out there right now. I think there's so many, it's quite confusing for businesses. If you were to break them down simply, I'd sort of say, look, here's kind of the options you have. There is just basic loans, the sort of thing you get from a bank or a kind of a lending provider. So I need some cash over the next 5 years to buy a van or something. It might be more short term, so it might be working capital. So I've placed a massive order and I need lots of cash for the Christmas rush to buy the stock I need. So I need something to get me through the next couple of months. So it's more of a short term loan. So this might be invoice financing or more working capital versus a sort of slightly longer term loan. And the third bucket is much more strategic. I need to make a big investment in my business because I need to now market it or I need to develop a product. And that usually is down to sort of equity. So that's you're actually giving away some equity in your business because you need a really strategic lump of cash to make an investment in your business. So that's kind of the options. Now, where do you go? It can be anywhere. It can be anything for equity, a venture capitalist. You could go to one of the P2P platforms like Crowdcube. For the lending, you've got the banks clearly, but also you've got this new breed of P2P sort of loan providers like Funding Circle as well. And then there's working capital. There's hundreds of invoice finance providers that are out there as well. So there's lots and lots of options. Also depends on where you are with your business. So right at the very start, so if you're in the first year, you might consider things like startup loans and other kind of forms and grants and things that are out there as well. So that's kind of how I'd categorize the funding landscape, but there is a lot out there. So how do you work out what you need and where you should go? Well, there's quite a lot of resources. So what I would say to you is just Googling funding, you will get lost. We've looked at this. I remember I set a challenge for one of my guys once, and they spent 4 hours hunting down and sort of picking out all the different options there are. So probably quite unhelpful and quite difficult. So in terms of resources, first thing I'd say is speak with your accountant. So our accountants should be able to have a good discussion around what the different options are and what type of cash they need. So immediately they'll be able to tell you if this is a working capital requirement. So you only need 2 months worth of cash. It's a short-term thing, or you need something a bit more substantial. Or if it's a £500,000 or something, then actually you need to think about equity investment. And if you're going down that route, what are the options you have? There are platforms now. So there are platforms where you can go in and you can sort of type in information. So things like Funding Exchange. And they'll take you through a whole list of questions and then match you up with lenders. So you can go down that route. If it's things like equity, I think, again, you've got a few options. There's lots of papers out there. So even the British Business Bank is quite well hidden, but they have a really good paper on the different forms of funding options out there. So depending on where your business is, sort of mapping it to the type of funding options you could go for. So there's lots and lots of resources. There is always funding seminars out there as well. So I don't think there's any excuse to say, look, I just can't find out it's there. It's just looking in the right places. So like I said, it's not something you Google and guess. There are lots and lots of helpful advice and resources out there that'll sort of help you kind of decide where you should be going for that funding.